Hi everybody, it's Shelley from the Maggie Haves School. Before we start our Martin Luther King Sing, I just wanted to mention briefly that these sings have been so important in our school community. This year marks over 40 Martin Luther King sings we have had. And that is because Maggie Haves herself lived during the civil rights era, and she was a social and political activist. She and her husband served in the Peace Corps in Africa when their twins were only 4 years old. And Maggie was all about helping make the world fair for everyone. And what she discovered was that really the best way to do that would be to create a school where she could help teach children about how important fairness is. It was only 12 years after the Civil Rights Act of 1964 that Maggie Haves established her school. So I think that the biggest way that Maggie Haves made things more fair for the world was by creating her school. And she wanted people to always remember these stories and always remember the brave people who came before us to help change the bad rules that were in place. And we still have more work to do. And by remembering the stories and by singing these songs and by talking about what fairness and justice and equality and freedom is, by sharing that with all of the children, we're really developing that awareness and that consciousness. And that is really what Maggie Haves wanted us to do. So by having these Martin Luther King sings, we are truly honoring Maggie's vision and honoring her life. So thank you for joining us, and I hope you sing along and enjoy the sing with us together.
Welcome Circle Room. This is our Martin Luther King Jr. Sing of 2021. And you know, we have been talking about this very special person. Who is this? Yeah, can you say it even louder? Who is this?
Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, exactly. And he was so special because he taught people that they could use what to solve problems? They could use their words to solve problems. And the big problem at that time was that not everybody was allowed to do the same things. So people were treated differently just because of how they looked. Do you remember what were some of the things that not everybody could do the same?
I had one.
You remember? Not everybody could go to the same restaurants. Not everybody could use the same bathrooms.
No.
Not everybody could use the same drinking fountains. Not everybody could go to the same schools. Not everybody could ride in the same trains. Not everybody could go to the same libraries. Not everybody could swim in the same swimming pools, only because of how they looked. Is that fair?
No.
No. And we talked about how it would be like if I said to Eddie, I don't like the color of your eyes, so you can't use the bathrooms here. Would that be okay?
No.
No, because Eddie is a person. And we're all people. And remember how we looked around at each other and we noticed? We have different colors on our bodies, like our hair is different, some different colors, and our eyes might be different colors. And what else is a different color on us?
Our skin.
Yeah, our skin. Everybody has a little different shade of skin. So the rules were just so bad that not everybody could do the same thing, that Martin Luther King Jr. said, we are going to change these rules, we're going to use our words. And one of his friends was this very special lady, and what was her name? Rosa Parks, that's right. And Rosa Parks got onto a bus one day, and she paid her money, and she sat down in her seat, And all of a sudden the bus started getting crowded with lots of people. And what did the bus driver tell her to do?
You have to give your seat to somebody else.
That's
Right.
That's right. So you said you have to give, the bus driver said you have to give your seat up to somebody else with lighter skin. That's right, Dre. And was that fair to Rosa? No, because she's a person and she paid her money. And she said, you know what? This is not fair. And she said what to the bus driver? What did she say to him?
No.
That's right. She said, no, I'm not going to move. And she was so brave because she might have been a little scared to say no to that rule, because the rule was that she would have to give her seat to somebody else. But she thought, this is not fair, and I'm going to use my words. And so many people heard about that story, and they also started to say no to the bus drivers. And even so many people started to think, you know what? We don't want to ride on a bus at all if they're going to have that bad rule. So many people stopped riding the bus. People with dark skin stopped riding the bus. People with light skin stopped riding the bus. They said, this is not fair, because we are all people, and people should have the freedom to sit wherever they want. So we're not going to ride the bus anymore until you change that rule. And they didn't ride the bus for a whole year. People would ride their bikes to school, or ride their bikes to work, or they would walk, or they would go in a car if they had a friend who had a car. And the bus company lost so much money. What did they finally do? They changed the rule, and they said, we will change the rule so everybody can sit wherever they want. And there's a song that we sing about that famous story. If you miss me in the back of the bus, you can't find me nowhere. Come on over to the front of the bus. I'll be riding up there. Can you sing it loud with me? I'll be riding up there. I'll be riding up there. Come on over to the bus. I'll be riding up. Yes. And not everybody was allowed to vote for the leaders and the rules of the land. Some people just had to work very hard lives their whole life. And we saw a picture of a person who was picking cotton. Do you remember that picture? And do you remember about the cotton? What was hard about picking cotton?
It was pokey.
It was pokey, yeah, and it was kind of sharp, and it was really, really hot in the fields. And so after the rules changed, everybody could easily vote, and vote for rules that would help them have a better way of life. And we would sing, if you miss me in the cotton field, you can't find me nowhere. Come on over to the courthouse. I'll be voting over there. I'll be voting over there.
I'll be voting over there.
Come on over to the courthouse. I'll be voting over there. And not everybody was allowed to swim in the same swimming pool. Some people, just because of how they looked, they would have to swim where? In the rivers and the lakes. And there was one river we talked about. Do you remember it's a big word? Mississippi River. And what about that water? Do you remember that picture we saw with the water? Do you remember, what did the water look like? It was muddy, it was dirty, yeah. And when the rules changed, everybody was allowed to swim in the same swimming pools. And so we can sing, if you miss me in the Mississippi River, try it. You can't find me nowhere. Come on over to the swimming pool. I'll be swimming over there. I'll be swimming over there. I'll be swimming over there. Come on over to the swimming pool. Freedom. What does freedom mean? When you're free, when you have freedom, what are you free to do? Anybody?
Say no and yes.
You can say no, you can say yes. Yeah, Rihanna's, you're nodding your head yes and you're shaking your head no. Yeah, you're free to say no, you're free to say yes. You're free to be who you are. You're free to live your life how you want to live it. And so we sing some freedom songs. You might remember this one. Try it with me if you remember it. I woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. And we're walking and talking with our mind set on freedom. We're walking and talking with our mind set on freedom. Let me see you march your feet, church. Yeah, let's do it. There you go. Yeah, because a lot of people would march for freedom and they would carry signs and they would say, these rules are not fair and we want freedom now. All right, let's try it one more time. Marching your feet. We're walking and talking with our mind set on freedom. We're walking and talking with our mind set on freedom. We're walking and talking with our mind set on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. And we're going to school with our mind. Sing it with me. Set on freedom. We're going to school with our mind set on freedom. How big can you sing? Going to school with hallelujah. Let me hear you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. If you're all for freedom, clap your hands. If you're all for freedom, clap your hands. If you're all for freedom, if you're all for freedom, if you're all for freedom, clap your hands. If you're all for freedom, stomp your feet. Stomp, stomp, stomp. If you're all for freedom, stomp your feet. If you're all for freedom, if you're all for freedom, if you're all for freedom, stomp your feet. Stomp, stomp, stomp. If you're all for freedom, shout hooray. If you're all for freedom, shout hooray. If you're all for freedom, if you're all for freedom, if you're all for freedom, shout hooray. Hooray. This is tricky. If you're all for freedom, do all three. Clap, clap, clap. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Hooray! If you're all for freedom, do all three. Clap, clap, clap. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Hooray! If you're all for freedom, if you're all for freedom, if you're all for freedom, do all three. Clap, clap, clap. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Hooray! On the count of three, let's shout freedom. 1, 2, 3. Freedom! All right, everybody take a seat. And I want to see if you remember this. You have a picture on your wall back there of a hammer of justice. What is justice? Justice is when everything is what? Yep, there's a bell of freedom and there's a hammer of justice. But what is justice? That's a big word. It's when everything is what for everyone? Is fair. Yes, everything is fair. That's justice. And this is a song about the love between our brothers and our sisters. I have a question. How can it be that we are all brothers and sisters? Now, Dre and Rio, you are brothers, and you do live in the same house. But how could the rest of us all be brothers and sisters? Like even Viv and Sadie? How could we all be brothers and sisters? We don't live in the same house. We're not in the same family. But we are in one big family. What's our big family we're all a part of? We are all what? People, yeah, we are brothers and sisters of a big people family. So when we sing this song, we're singing about all of us together like brothers and sisters. All right, let me see you hammer. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out a warning, I'd hammer out the love between my brothers and my sisters. That's us, all over this land. All right, let's ring a bell. If I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. Try this with me. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out a warning, I'd ring out the love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Let's sing a song. If I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out a warning. Let me hear ya. I'd sing out, yeah, all over this land. And now we have all three. Sing it with me. I have a hammer. Ready? Well, I have a hammer, and I have a bell, and I have a song to sing all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's the song about the land between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Yeah. So Martin Luther King Jr. taught us to use words to solve problems, and he also taught us one other very, very powerful thing. Do you remember how he told people that they have the biggest power of the whole world, of the whole universe? The most super power is inside everyone. What is that power? Power and light. Yes, it's light and what? And love. That's right. And love is like a light. And Martin Luther King Jr. said, shine your love like a light. Let your love shine in the world and take it around the whole world. And can anybody ever blow that light out? No, you cannot destroy love. That's why it's so powerful. And when people are loving, they make sure that everything is fair for everyone.
The light went out.
Oh, you're pretending that it did, but you know what? In real life, it can't ever go away. Love is the most powerful thing that anybody could ever have and anybody could ever be. So let's do that song about this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. Well, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. All right, let's take our light around the world. Ready? Here we go. Gonna take this light around the world, and I'm gonna let it shine. How loud can you sing it? Take this light around the world, gonna let it shine. Gonna take this light around the world, 'cause I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All right, don't you blow my light out. Let's do it. Don't you sing this. This little light. Little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. You sing it even bigger. This little light. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Yes. Oh, thank you for your beautiful voices. And you know, we have one last song that we're going to sing, and that's the song that we sang when you hold your hands in that very special way. And that's what people would do at the end of meetings, when they would have meetings to talk about how to change the bad rules. At the end, they would stand very, very close together because it would make them feel very brave and very strong when they held hands. You want to try it? I see that Dre is getting up here. Go ahead and let's see if you can get together. And Eddie will help you because this one's tricky. This is the hand hold that they would do, and they would sing this most beautiful song. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Sing it with me. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart. Try it with me. I do believe we shall overcome someday. Can you sing this part with me? We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. Try it. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Let's sing, we are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today. Oh, deep in my heart, try it. I do believe we shall overcome someday. And at the end of the song, they would give a gentle squeeze to the person next to them, a very gentle, loving squeeze to say, I am with you.
I'm with you.
That's right. And
Or a hug.
together, or a hug, absolutely. And together we can make things fair for everyone. You okay? Yeah.
Come on over.
So we are at the end of our sing. Would you like to say goodbye to your families? You can wave to the camera and say goodbye.
Bye.